Hey guys, this is Brandon with the Moto Lab. Here we are with our 2017 Cobra CX50 FWE. Today we're going to show you how to clean and oil the air filter. The products we recommend to do this, some sort of cleaner, degreaser to get rid of the old filter oil and obviously the old dirt. Read the directions on the back. Pretty much every bottle, every cleaner has some sort of directions and the proper way to use it. So follow those because that does have a major effect on how well it works. Next thing we recommend is your filter oil. We'll be showing you the proper way to apply that. Next thing you need on the Cobra is a 5mm Allen head to get the seat off. Then the last thing, most important thing probably when you're doing your air filter, is a set of rubber gloves. It is a little bit messy. Your hands will get very dirty if you don't have them. So we highly recommend getting a box of rubber gloves and using those for this job. Step one is removing the seat. As you can see here, we have a dirty air filter after a weekend of racing. Time to remove this, get it cleaned up, serviced up, re-oiled, put it back in. That way none of this dirt gets through and gets into our engine. With the Cobras, you just pinch this piece together and the metal apparatus will just kind of work its way out of here. And we're going back together, we'll explain the proper way to get that seated in correctly. That way the filter is sealed properly. The major thing is pulling the filter back. Don't just start pulling up on it or dirt's going to fall into the air box and you want to avoid that at all costs. And pop it out of there. The next thing we recommend doing, looking down in the air box, making sure there's no dirt that has gotten down in there. Highly recommend using a flashlight because it can be dark down there and really hard to see the dirt. The goal here is to not have any specks of dirt past the air filter. If you see any dirt down in the bottom of the air box, even on the sides, anywhere past the air filter, that is caused by a number of things. It could be low quality oil, could be just a bad air filter, it could be that it didn't get seated properly. Either way, you need to figure out the reason because that's what will lead to clogged up carburetors or engine failure. And that's obviously the most important part of doing your air filter maintenance, is not letting any dirt go past it. So if you got dirt past the air filter and into the air box, you need to do some more research and figure out why, and go from there. The next thing we do is clean the air box. You can see all the dirt in there. Best thing that works is usually some sort of contact or brake cleaner. Make sure you get a real good clean blue towel. We recommend the lint-free shop towels. Just wipe it out, get every speck of dirt off there. When you're doing this, you do run a risk of getting dirt down into the air box that we just talked about. So try and avoid that at all costs, and if you get some in there, just simply wipe it out and make sure everything gets cleaned up. The next thing we do is just spray the cleaner on the filter, soak it in real good, work it in, and again follow the instructions on the back of the cleaner because everyone's slightly different. On this exact one, they do recommend going inside and outside the filter, just really dousing it good and then working it in by hand. The next step, washing it with water. Obviously go into your sink or somewhere wherever you have a good water source and just give it a good wash. Probably recommend outside on a hydrant or something of that nature. Your wife or mother may not like you doing it in your kitchen sink. Now that we've got it cleaned out with water, next step we like to do is use an air hose to blow it dry. You don't have to get it blown completely dry, it'll stay in here all day long, but blow it out, get most of the water out, The main reason for this is it helps dislodge any extra debris or sand or dirt or anything that's still within the filter. Helps kind of push it out. The next thing we recommend doing after it's good and clean, give it a good inspection. Look for any rips, any tears, even if it's not all the way through the filter. Anytime I recommend, like right there, that's a small tear in this filter. That's the first time we've seen it on this one. It's also starting to separate from the sealing surface. This filter needs to be replaced with a new one, as it is not going to do the job as it fully could. Next thing, after you've washed it, blowing it out with air, just let it fully dry. It does take some time. If you have a good sunny, dry, clean area, that'll help speed up the process. Put it on a fan as well. Some people will attach it to a light little fan that's going to keep some air moving through it, help it dry out a little faster, or just simply let it sit overnight on your bench top for a night or two, and then she'll dry out eventually. Now that your filter is completely dry, as you just saw in that last shot, our filter that we had some rips and tears in it. We disposed of that one. Get rid of it, that way it never has a chance to go back in the bike again. We throw it straight in the trash can and get rid of it. Don't keep it around for a spare or anything of that nature, because it'll cost you a lot more money in the future if you allow it to. So we've got a brand new Cobra air filter here. We're going to show you how to oil it. Obviously just grab your filter oil. Not your cleaner. And then the main thing is getting full coverage. Whether you use a spray or a pour-on method, they both work great. Again, find a good quality filter oil. There are some cheap ones out there that just don't do the job. You'll know that when you look in the air box and see if you're getting dirt past your filter into the air box. Sometimes you'll have a brand new filter, you'll oil real good, you'll know it's sealed right, but when you pull it off after a ride or two, it's still going to have dirt in there. Spray it on. Get you good even coverage. We do recommend spraying a little bit on the brim, the sealing surface. Some people like to grease this area. That's up to you. That's a personal preference there. Next step is that's not done there. We need to go ahead and work it in and make sure it gets a consistent oil all around the foam, even on the brim, everything else. With this exact filter being blue, it's kind of tough to see the oil because the oil is blue as well. A lot of other filters out there, this exact bike is blue, but a lot of other bikes, even the Junior and the P3, it's more of a white filter. It's really easy to see when you have proper oil coverage. Okay, now we've got the filter oiled up, ready to go back in. And this is probably one of the most important steps, is getting the filter seated properly against the air box to make sure there's no passageways or access for dirt to get by the filter. On the Senior FWE here, there's these little tabs on the retainer that helps seat it into the air box. There's 3 holes, one down there in the bottom, one on the right, one on the left, that these little tabs have got to go down into. The bottom right, this tab just sets behind the post that you'll see down there. Obviously you're normally going to do this with the filter in, but for the ease of this video I'm going to show you how it should clip in. Make sure that those tabs go in each of the 3 holes. Down in the bottom, in the left side. So that's how you know you have the retainer in there right. Obviously, now we can go ahead and install it with the filter in. You'll see that the filter does say top on the top side. Make sure that gets on there right. The retainer just sets up against it. Set the filter down in there, and like I say, it can be a little bit of a wrestle. And so this is where you've got to make sure that first the bottom goes into the hole that's in the bottom, then it's behind this post, and then your top 2 go in the top left and the top right holes. And then grab these 2 and actually push them out to make sure that they're seated in there properly. At this point, I like to take my fingers with the gloves and work my fingers all the way around the filter to make sure it is seated very tightly up against the air box. And that's the proper way to install the filter. This is the process we recommend for doing filters here at B's Moto Lab. Really for any bike, obviously this is specific towards the Cobra, but it applies to all the other bikes, same general way. See you guys next time. I don't know how to end without saying thank you.